Yeah. Look at this going in the boat. I might put this up on. I'm over by Willie G's. I done spent so much money over here at Willie G's. My ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend love Willie G's. My ex love Willie G's. This is Range Rover, Porsche. What up? That's Maestro Steakhouse. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hustle. Man. Right. This is insane. Man. I don't know why they're. Alright, what up? Yee! That's a Rolls Royce over there. I don't know, I think the basketball players over there. Right? I'm gonna go back and say what it do. Yeah. Look at these Porsches. Alright. Bentley. Hey, what it do, broskies? Hey, my name's Evan Reck and Marshall, Mastermind Online Publishing Group out of Southside. That's my business card. I need some help that I don't need. I'm a marketing advertising firm. Hey, nice to meet you, brothers. Yeah, the boy pretty cool. Bentley. Bentley. Man, that's a damn Bentley on it. B on the damn beans. What up? Hey, excuse me. Yee! Farms! 3rd floor! Nah. Who, hey.
What?
Hey, what up?
What up?
Get my business cards. I'm a marketing advertising firm.
Okay.
I need some work.
What?
Whatever the job is. Like, all right. 3rd floor. Right. Oh my God. Beautiful. Yeah. Jesus. We're late. Hey. Jesus Christ. What is going on here? Hey, farms. Yee! Farms, up here. Go to the stairs and come to the 3rd floor. Laurel. This is it. Yeah, we're late. It's beautiful. This is going in the ball. Hey. Hey. Brother. Come on. Third floor. We're late. Where are you? Jesus. Farms. Took the elevator. Oh, we're late. Come on. Come on, brother. This is the third. Come on, brother. Willie G's. Come on. Hey. Hey. How you doing?
Can match up against $3 million of
We're late.
giving you absolutely zero income.
Sorry.
Does that make sense? Okay, now, why do I like real estate? Look, why do I like real estate so much? Because real estate's all around us. If you take a look, even in the Houston area, there's probably $500 billion of real estate, if not more. Massive, massive amount of real estate. I told you the wealthiest families in the world own real estate. Truly, they do. How many golf courses does Trump own? A lot. How many does he own? A lot. For all of these reasons that were outlined. Real estate gives you the advantage of a current asset with a current write-off. It gives you cash flow. It gives you appreciation through time. It gives you the ability to improve the property and raise your rents. It also gives you the ability to lever and take excess profit. Remember, any loan off of that asset is tax-free. In addition, real estate has a special feature called the 1031 exchange. A 1031 exchange says you can sell any piece of rental real estate in the United States and pay zero tax if you exchange it for another piece of real estate. Right? It goes further. It's one of the reasons I like real estate so much. If you take, let's say you buy a property for $10 million. So you buy a building for $10 million. Current year write-off, approximately $3 million, let's just say. So your cost was $10 million, and you broke $3 million off, your new cost basis is $7 million. $3 million was the current year tax credit, right? You didn't pay cash for this. You levered it 3 to 1. Very typical. You put 30% down. So you put down $3 million, you generated $3 million tax credit. So far, so good, right? $7 million basis. Now, that's year one. You pass away that year and give that property to your spouse. Your spouse receives the same property, still worth $10 million, but their cost base is no longer $7 million. Now it gets what's called a step up in basis to $10 million. Your spouse redepreciates that property again for another $3 million. So in 2 years, 2 tax breaks, for a total of $6 million. You still would put $3 million in, but you just wrote off $6 million in income. Then the spouse passes away and gives it to the kids. The kids get another step up in basis. So let's say that property appreciated to $20 million. Cost basis was 7. No tax, the kids get it, full step up in basis, $20 million. They again depreciate 30%, they get a $6 million write-off. 3 step up in basis off one property, $3 million, $3 million, $6 million, $12 million in write-offs. That family just paid more in IRS tax breaks than they ever paid for the property. This has nothing to do with whether the property ever appreciated and nothing to do with cash flow of the property. It's all the way the system works. Because real estate and other assets are paid for tax. Start to see how that works. It gets even better. Let's say the husband, before the husband passes away, husband buys a property for $10 million, appreciates it down to 7. So he gets his first $3 million tax break. Then he gives it upline to his dad. His dad is older. Gives it to his dad. Dad's cost base is 7, but then dad passes away. Passes that property right back down to the son. The son now has an asset with a full step up in base of $10 million. The son appreciates it again for the second time. So upstream gift, $3 million. then he passes, then it goes to the wife, it's another 3, then the wife kids, another 3. You get in one property, you do an upstream gift, 4 step-ups in basis. Which means you can make more on the IRS tax bill than you ever made on the property. One person came to me last year, sold a company in 2006 for $26 million. He paid 50% tax, was not his advisor at that point, okay? Paid 50% tax. Over the next 19 years, he bought 67 single-family homes. He bought 19 pieces of commercial real estate. Current portfolio is over $105 million, $70 million of debt against that. So net is about $80 million. He had about $10 million under assets for a total of $90 million. During that 19 years, he started out with 13, this was 91. He had done 50 tax-free exchanges, selling one property and buying another. The whole time he paid no tax. You start to see how this works? Now, there were still some issues he had. He had very low cap rates on his portfolio, it was about 4%, which is of course why he came to me to raise that. But the point is, $13 million to $90 million completely tax advantage. You see how the system works? It favors those with assets. Now, you don't simply have to be real estate. There is wind and solar, which have depreciation as well as current year tax credits up to 40, even 50% in some cases. There is business assets that can be bought. There are other businesses that also can be bought. There are all sorts of ways and methodologies to reduce tax through assets. But the concept is that every year you have income, you're buying something. And if you buy something, you can use that depreciation expense to write off your current income. And the best part is now you've converted cash, which depreciates in value, into assets, which will appreciate in value and give you all those benefits. Does that make good sense? Okay. So, that hopefully gives you an idea of how we take a look at assets and how we get clients' tax bills down to 0. Now, I want to give you a quick caveat. Who here has ever been on Instagram? Right? You are going to get pummeled by Instagram, all sorts of promoters out there that are telling you about this tax scheme and that tax scheme and everything else. Write this down. There's something called the IRS Dirty Dozen. IRS Dirty Dozen. This is what you want to watch out for. IRS Dirty Dozen. This is the top 12 tax evasion strategies the IRS looks for. Wow. One of the biggest among these is something called conservation easements. Conservation easements, which are inflated charitable deductions. Another one that has also been hit very hard in recent years is captive insurance companies. I'll explain briefly how they both work, because both of these are currently used in the marketplace, and they are constantly brought into court by the IRS successfully. Which means that if you don't want to lose an audit, you really should avoid anything on the IRS Dirty Dozen list. And you should beware of people on the internet selling you a quick fix and a product, right? Notice everything I talked about today so far is a real asset. You can see and feel and touch it as real value. And all assets and all true tax strategies have 2 words that make them so important. Write these 2 words down. Economic substance. Economic substance. If you are taking advantage of an asset or tax strategy, and it does not have economic substance, if it's not real, expect to be audited and expect to lose. Okay? Now, a conservation easement is you take, let's say, $1 million, and you buy a property for $1 million. Then you go and get architectural plans on that for a multifamily apartment building, which makes the value of that land not $1 million, but maybe $4 million once it's developed, right? But instead of developing it, you just give it away. You write a conservation on that saying, I will never develop this property, I'm going to give it to the public trust forever. Put it at $1 million. It was worth $4 million because you were going to put a multifamily apartment building on there. How much is your charitable deduction worth? Is it $1 million charitable deduction or is it $4 million charitable deduction? Well, the conservation easement folks will tell you it's a $4 million deduction. But you know how the IRS looks at it? It says economic substance. You just bought this thing for $1 million. You did a study on it. We don't care about the study. That land is still worth $1 million. So in a conservation easement, they'll tell you you can put in this amount account and get a 4 times tax write-off. I've seen 8 times tax write-offs before, right? The problem is there's no economic substance there. It's still that same $1 million piece of land, or piece of artwork, or whatever it happens to be, or a piece of software. I've seen iterations of all of these. So it sounds too good to be true. If there's no economic substance there, look out. The next is captive insurance companies. Captive insurance companies is the idea that the S&P 500, all the top 500 companies in the country, they all have their own insurance company. They insure some of their own risks. So they don't have to be State Farm and Geico and everybody else. They can self-insure by forming their own captive insurance company. It's a great way to save some premium dollars. Congress created a program for small businesses called a micro captive program. It allows you the same thing as a small business owner. You can write up about $3.5 million a year. Sounds pretty great by forming your own insurance company. There's still one company out there that's doing this. Okay? And of course, they're always in IRS litigation as well. The problem with this is, oh, and by the way, any premiums you pay for this insurance, to create this large pool of insurance money that you own in your captive insurance company, all tax free. You get a tax rate for everything you put in. It's a great benefit. Unlike a conservation easement, this is actually directly written into the code. This is condoned and sanctioned by the code, but the IRS does not like it. The IRS doesn't like it because in practice, the insurance that is being purchased is too expensive, the risks aren't real, the risk mitigation of the insurance pool is not correct. So they blow them up time and time and time again. Just do a quick Google search and you'll find this. So the problem is that these are two things, one of which is written directly in the code that the IRS does not like. That people will readily sell you, that will get you in trouble, not this year, not during Trump's IRS. Remember, the IRS can look back 7 years, right? And for fraud, they can look back indefinitely. One gentleman came to me 3 years ago. His father had set up a captive insurance company. He got a tax write-off for over $8 million. And I asked him, and he said he was currently in an audit. I said, how much do you expect to get out of it? He said, the $8.5 million account, we think when it's all said and done after penalties and tax, we're gonna get $1.6 million. Right? This is how aggressive the IRS is. So I can tell you that whatever strategy you end up implementing, it must have economic substance. And it must be building true value for yourself. Jonathan's a physician. If Jonathan has multiple locations, every single location, he should own that building in each location. It is a built-in tax break. In addition, there are other things you can do to buy other assets that generate other tax breaks, bringing your multiple tax liability down to zero. Look at the number you circled for 2026. Look at the number you circled for 25, 24, and 23. Imagine if you'd taken this money and it was sitting in assets for you, your assets, that were appreciating, paying you cash flow. It's what Jeff Bezos did, right? That's what you too do. Okay, we'll circle back to that at the end. But that gives you an idea of how we write taxes off to zero every single year by buying true assets, real assets, everything you see around you, buildings, offices, equipment, livestock, all sorts of various things depending upon your objective. The easiest, of course, being real estate, right? Now, once you own assets, if you have all of these assets in your own name, and then by the way, at the very end, I'm going to give you the opportunity to, there's only so much I can cover here in a group meeting. I can't talk about your personal situation, what you need to do. I'm going to offer everyone, as I have for the past 30 years, I'm going to offer the ability to meet with me and my team one-on-one. When you meet with us, we're going to request tax returns, personal financial statement, real estate or business holdings, etc. So the time you actually spend with me is as valuable as possible. Okay? So first you meet with my team, they collect all the data, and then we will have a one-on-one meeting. And if it's a fit, then we may be able to be your personal CFO, but we don't take everybody because there are certain qualifications of what you need to have for it to truly make sense. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's say you've accumulated assets. Now, everyone here in this room has some assets, right? You've all made some money. Let me give you an idea. The idea is you accumulate these assets, they all sit in your personal name. If you walk out of here tonight, you drive out there, you get in your little car accident, and someone decides to sue you, one of these attorneys you see on all the billboards we write on the freeway, those attorneys stand to gain 35% of your net worth in a contingency fee. All assets of the corporation